Hey, what's up guys? It's Tip. In all my years following World of Warcraft, I've only seen the community agree on two different issues. Issue number one, Garrison sucked, and issue number two, World of Warcraft questing has generally improved with each expansion. While I concur wholeheartedly with issue number one, I can't accept issue number two without some kind of caveat. It's certainly true that questing technology has improved by leaps and bounds since the ancient days of vanilla, but the overall questing experience is another subject entirely. In all honesty, even without the fancy scenarios and phasing and animated cutscenes, vanilla questing was still pretty darn good, maybe even underrated. Before you dismiss me as a jaded vanilla fanboy, give me a minute to explain my reasoning. First and foremost, I don't believe that today's questing is bad per se. Quite the contrary, actually. I enjoyed Legion's primary narrative. But therein lies the problem, the existence of a primary narrative in an MMORPG. If you've played some of the old school MMOs of the past, you'll know that story in general was a lacking feature. A primary story which all players were meant to be a part of? Non-existent. And that makes sense. After all, if the game you're playing is set in a persistent universe where players are meant to foster agency over the world around them, it wouldn't make sense for everyone to be the Grand Master, Savior, Messiah. That's just poor storytelling. You see, a few expansions ago, Blizzard decided to elevate player status in Warcraft above and beyond a simple adventurer. The rationale behind this decision was that we as players have progressed over the years. We're no longer a John Everyman picking grapes for Millie Osworth. By Mists of Pandaria, we've become legendary dragon slayers and vanquishers of the dead, so it only makes sense to take player involvement in the world to the next level. But by doing so, Blizzard unintentionally sacrificed an intangible game feature that has been paramount to the MMORPG genre for decades. The experience of being a random adventurer in a living, breathing, and sometimes unpredictable world. With everyone now cast as the hero of Azeroth, players have been pigeonholed into a single-player fantasy in lieu of a true MMO experience. Needless to say, vanilla questing philosophy was much different. From the moment you set foot in Azeroth, vanilla WoW taught you one very important lesson. You are nothing. You're not a hero or a prince. You're not even a soldier. You're just a wandering adventurer, barely qualified to wield a sword. And as your title suggests, you're interested in only one thing: adventures. Thankfully, vanilla WoW had no shortage of those. Barely an hour or two into your experience, you're set on your first cross-zone quest, where you deliver a package to your faction's main capital. Just a few hours more, and you're venturing across the world, traveling diverse landscapes and slaying mighty beasts. Adventure is what you signed up for, and adventure is what you receive. Unfortunately, this experience died off early into World of Warcraft's lifespan. With the launch of the Burning Crusade came WoW's first legitimate quest hubs, a quality of life improvement that restricted the objective of quests to a small perimeter near the original quest giver. At the time, this feature was lauded by the player base, as vanilla's adventure-style questing made leveling alts a giant pain. But like so many other features that sound great on paper, the long-term effect of quest hubs was not felt until much later. Only after revisiting vanilla's quest experience can you actually appreciate WoW's original quest philosophy. Let me give you some examples. One of my favorite quests in all of gaming is the Missing Diplomat quest in vanilla WoW. This 12-part quest chain spans 4 continents, 7 levels, 3 boss encounters, 2 events, and introduces you to one of Warcraft's most iconic characters, all within your first 30 hours of gameplay. Sure, the quest itself can be inconvenient, and the experience awarded is suboptimal for speed levelers, but dear God is it fun. I mean, how many quests today take us to 4 different zones? And speaking of cross-zone travel, what about the famous Whirlwind Weapon quest for warriors, a level 30 quest that sends the player across the world before defeating a monstrous elite and claiming one of the 3 powerful Whirlwind two-handers, another incredible vanilla quest chain. And it wasn't just the quests themselves that defined the vanilla questing experience. It was the entire structure of the system. We've already mentioned cross-zone travel as a primary focus, but in all reality, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Another famous quality of the vanilla questing system was the ability to receive higher level quests, also known as red quests, before reaching the appropriate level requirement. A great example of this system at work is Smot's Chest, a level 45 quest that can be obtained at level 35. For nearly 10 levels, Players are forced to fantasize about reaching this quest's threshold, giving them something to look forward to. However, more experienced players have the opportunity to tackle this quest earlier if they so desire, either by grouping up or utilizing their knowledge of the game to defeat the encounter. Giving players the choice to tackle higher level quests is non-existent in modern WoW, especially since the introduction of level scaling. Today, nothing can be out of reach for new players, and consequently, nothing in the world is dangerous. I remember questing in Stranglethorn Vale for ages before Smot's chest finally became orange in my quest log. I've gotta say, just seeing the colors change was a reward in and of itself. It made me feel like I was getting stronger and progressing, even if I wasn't rewarded with gear. It's a unique feeling only present in Vanilla's questing system, along with various other unique qualities that have now been removed from the game. One of the most interesting qualities of vanilla questing was the incorporation of professions into quests. I'm not talking about profession-specific quests like the ones we have today, I'm talking about normal quests that would randomly include profession requirements. One of my favorite examples of this feature is the quest facing Negalash in Stranglethorn Vale. What starts off as a seemingly typical boss kill quest changes tone quickly, as players realize that the reagents needed to summon Negalash aren't easy to come by. One specific reagent, barbecued buzzard wing, is actually a cooking item with its own unique recipe. If no one in your group has 175 cooking, as well as the recipe for the barbecued buzzard wings, you won't be able to summon the boss. What an awesome integration of two separate game systems. And honestly, what a curveball. This unpredictable requirement can spawn countless other adventures as players go about leveling their cooking skills in order to meet the quest's requirements. An adventure in the truest sense of the word. Facing Negalash is not a convenient quest. It's not an easy quest, but man, when you finally get those buzzard wings and summon the giant, talk about a climactic showdown. And while the reward for facing Negalash isn't necessarily fancy, other quests in vanilla have rewards that you wouldn't even believe were possible. Skull of Impending Doom, Dartal's Rod of Transformation, and Carrot on a Stick. All awesome quest rewards with unique abilities. Hook of the Master Angler turns you into a fish, giving you underwater breathing and increased movement speed in the water. Fire Ruby restores 1 to 500 mana and increases the spell power of your next fire spell by 100. And of course, the Mallet of Zul'Farrak and the Scepter of Celebros are used as keys to unlock secret bosses and locations in certain vanilla dungeons. All of these items are quest rewards in vanilla, and each one of them has a unique ability that distinguishes it from other items in the game. Some would argue that these non-intuitive, mostly non-combat rewards make the questing experience seem more organic. And I agree. Seeing stat sticks as quest rewards over and over makes me feel like I'm playing a game. But coming across unique items with supplemental uses in the world around me, all of a sudden, I'm on an adventure. If I could summarize vanilla questing in one statement, it would be just that. Vanilla questing is an adventure. And just like all adventures, it's non-linear, inconvenient, and sometimes unpredictable. But it's real. It's visceral. It's alive. And that's why it was great. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I didn't have time to talk about group quests or class quests in this video, so I'll save that for another time. But if you liked what you saw, sub it up and stick around because we got more coming. For classic WoW news, content, and updates, you can follow me on my Twitter in the description below. Have a wonderful day, fellas. And as always, tips out, baby.